Welcome to Business Coaching Secrets with Karl Bryan. If you want to attract new high-end coaching clients, fill live events, and build a wildly profitable coaching practice where business owners pay, stay, and refer, you've come to the right place. In this podcast, Karl provides his keys to the kingdom for finding and signing high-paying clients and building the coaching business of your dreams. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, coaches around the world, welcome to another episode of Business Coaching Secrets. It's your boy, the Road Dog, with none other than the man, the myth, the business coaching legend himself, Karl Bryan. Shoots, welcome to the show.
Road Dog, what's going on, bud? That's a way better introduction than you did on the pre-show. So I'm in for you're going easy on me. Nice stuff.
Well, you know what, bud? The pre-show was all about the you must be at least this tall for to go on this ride, and I realized that you constantly, no matter how tall your shoes are, you still come up short. Shoots. It is a shame, but one day you will be able to go onto the Ferris wheel, and you are going to love it.
I may or may not be wearing elevator shoes.
There you go, bud.
Is that what you call them?
Like, you know what? You wear striped pants to make yourself look taller. Is that how that works? I don't know.
There we go. How'd you know? You're letting my secrets out. Stop it.
Speaking of secrets, I'm going to jump right in. You just had your Business Coaching Mastery 5. Is that right? Virtual. Let's not mistake it with your annual trip down to Mexico, to Cancun, I believe. But how was that? How was the virtual Business Coaching Mastery 5? How'd that go?
It was killer. So the theme was the coaches. So we had 12 speakers, and then they were all tasked with how they put $100,000 into their new coaching clients' genes within 100 days. And not surprisingly, all the coaches had a different approach, but at the same time, consistent. I'll tell you this, Road Dog, one thing that blew me away was the amount of our speakers that were talking, numbers, small business finance, accounting, like that kind of a theme, as opposed to, sexy, go get them, crush it revenue wise. Everybody was like, a lot of the speakers were heavy on the margin and the numbers, which I thought was great. Because again, we've been making a massive push over that over the last number of years. Obviously the software supports all of that, but, and yes, that's what we did. And actually we finished it, demonstrating how a $250,000 business can make more than a $1 million business. And then you basically, and the way that we demonstrated it was using our profit acceleration simulator. And then of course, it's one thing to demonstrate how to find any business owner $100,000 in 45 minutes without spending $1 on marketing or advertising. You say that, but then you need to be able to back it up. And then basically we finished it off with, we provided all the participants 3, 10, 30, 45, 90-minute, and 120-minute, I believe, presentation on how, using the simulator, how to back up the $100,000 in 45 minutes without spending $1 on marketing or advertising promise. That is a hook. So anyway, so that's it. And bottom line, again, just building, we talked about this a lot on the podcast, Road Dog, so I don't want to go down this one, but just building a profitable business on a solid foundation has to be a priority over a shaky business, growing revenues. And that's not to say in any way, shape, or form that you shouldn't strive, your client shouldn't strive for $1 million, $10 million, $25 million business, whatever, to double it, triple it, et cetera. But they just have to do it with, one eye on margin, one eye on cash flow. And without question, I saw a massive theme in the presentations. And we didn't push for that. That was just something that happened organically. And I thought, wow, that was very different than in the past. So there you go, Shoot. So that's my answer, bud. Thanks for asking. And it was good. It was good.
That answer was quite the promotional plug. Focus.com.
Did it sound? Oh, Lordy, it wasn't the intent, but whatever.
Well, on that note, how do I follow that up? Okay, I got a random one here for you.
Okay.
Really good question, right? Given the wild state of the world, which man, oh man, there is, there are so many headlines out there. It's crazy, including, by the way, the great headline up in Canada of how Justin Trudeau now looks like Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber after his summer haircut. If you haven't seen it, go to Google. You're welcome. Anywho, if I'm serious, dude, you're gonna laugh your ass off. It's so good. But given the chaos in the world, right? If you were to start a business, what kind of business would you start? I love that.
Cool. Yeah. So just the world's in turmoil. So what sort of business would I start at this time? Is that it?
That it's as if you're reading back what I just read to you. It's unbelievable.
Is that what it is? What am I
That's
doing? I'm paying attention. Am I getting? You give me a
well,
goal?
I realize your attention span is that of a goldfish, so I appreciate you paying attention, Shoots. I realize it's early, but here we are.
Okay. So what I say, state of the world. I don't know. State of the world is semi-irrelevant. If I was going to start a business, I don't care what the world was doing. I would look for a problem and then solve it. And then I would make sure that there were recurring revenues. And I'd want to create super happy clients. So, I mean, that's it, right? Ideally, I do it in something I enjoy. But remember, don't do what you love what you do. Like an athlete. I think we talked about this maybe even last week before, but we talked about it a lot. Michael Jordan fell in love with training, right? So fall in love with training, not the crowd. Like use that as your frame. It's billionaires. They always at the end of a billionaire's talk, they always say, do what you love. And if you reverse engineer it, okay, you go have a look at their beginnings. It's absolutely it's misguided advice. It's very convenient for the billionaire to say, do what you love, right? It's you make money doing what you're good at. Like do that. And then by the way, if you love it, that's obviously a bonus. But do what you're good at, and that's where you're going to make a great business. If you do what you love, you end up hating what you used to love, right? I've talked. I used to own a hockey rink, and I love hockey, and I could have thrown those skates in the garbage. Anyways, but and also look, okay, so I would want a business that solved problems, but I also want a high unit of sale. Remember this: if you want, let's just use everybody wants to know how to hit $1 million with their company, right? Very common. Well, if you have $100,000 unit of sale, you've only got to make 10 sales to get to $1 million. If you got a $10,000 unit of sale, you need what? I guess that's 100, right? If you have $1,000 unit of sale, you got to make 1,000 to achieve your goal of $1 million. If you have $100 sale, you need to make 10,000. You get a $10 sale, you need to make 100,000. And if you got a $1 sale, you got to sell a million units to hit $1 million, right? Without knowing what that product is that's only selling for $1 or $10, and you got to make 100,000 or 1 million sales, think dispatch, think logistics, think staff, think of all the things that could go wrong, right? So a higher unit of sale is going to be a safer, easier business. Are you going to start there? Not necessarily, but like a lot of our coaches that and consultants that we had 12 of our high end folks presenting, and again, lots of them have six-figure coaching practice, like six-figure coaching programs, right? Like one client spending six figures, and we got lots of examples of how it played out. So, anyways, thinking about like I'd want a high unit of sale. Generally speaking, there's always nuances there. Repeat business equals profit. Think about that. Like again, recurring revenue. I would again don't care the state of the world. These are things that I would want. If you start something that has like passion behind it, like think coaching. One of the business coaching is great because people get into it and they just can't. They can't let it go. Like they just love it. They love it. It's not that people enjoy Tony Robbins or think he's a great guy. The guy's got like a cult, right? Literally a cult following. You go to Facebook right now and say Tony Robbins is a lying dog's breakfast. Watch what happens. Okay, you will be attacked, right? Literally attacked, and you'll be sharing it. Oh my gosh! So you know what I mean? He's got that. So it's you know what I mean? Like it's a high level of passion. Or think golf. Like for me, it's hockey. Again, hockey players, they make 10 million, 50, whatever number of millions of dollars a year. Like people will support their hockey team and spend more time thinking about their hockey team, their baseball team, their football team than they will their own life or their own family, right? Not so good. Supplements, also find that people that go into, you get a personal trainer, you start working out, right? You take, supplements like crazy. Road Dog, you're packing, I don't even know, but looking at the supplements that you're taking on a daily basis, right? They're huge. So it becomes like it's got a high level of passion. So thinking crypto, has that as well. A little different, maybe greasy slope to go down. So we won't go down there. But the people that believe, like I've said this, like I think that crypto could become like like how the Greens became a political party. Well, there will be a crypto political party in the future, I believe, and I think that it will be incredibly powerful, and the people that will follow it. If you think that the Greens are passionate, I think that the crypto folks are going to be like, "Whoa." So I want to start a business. I want to be solving a problem, but I want to solve a problem that people are very passionate about. Um, so, and again, so as a frame, if you're looking at problems, that means you're not looking at ideas. Again, said that 1,000 times, but I'll continue to say it. That's the mistake, Carl. Is this a good idea? Will this idea work? Will this idea make money? Wrong way to go at it. And maybe Road Dog, throw it back to you. But look, I'm just thinking whether or not this is relevant here. But if I'm going to start a business, I don't want high end skill. I'm not going to start an architectural firm, an engineering firm. I wouldn't go into like chiropractic. I wouldn't go into dental and start doing braces and cleaning teeth. Why? Because it takes the staff have to be too talented to follow through. Like a dentist has to go to school for 8 years, a chiropractor probably 5 years, an engineer, it's 4+, an architect, I'd imagine it's 4+. So low end skill is going to be significantly more scalable. You'll be able to, create your market. Just going to be more scalable. You could grow quicker. So, and again, business coaching, I can take a big fan of Tony Robbins or somebody who's got, advertising background, some sales skills, willing to really dive in. But in 90 days, we can train them up to the point where they can very comfortably go speak to the business owner and move the needle and push them, right? Because again, like goal setting, the business owner doesn't have, when you understand our methodology around goal setting, our methodologies around time management, our methodologies around the Profit Jumpstart 12 and the 12 areas where you could grow, it's just not, they don't have the goals written. They don't have 80-20 rules. They don't understand, like their time management is completely a dog's breakfast. They don't have an upsell. They don't have a downsell. They don't have a cross sell. They don't have a proper upfront offer. So when you go at it and you just do it from a level of like, I'm going to make this work, as opposed to, I wonder if this will work. It's hard not to be successful. So Road Dog is a frame. I can take somebody who's passionate and in 90 days have them very comfortably coaching businesses, the same way that I could take somebody and turn them into something like a personal trainer in 90 days as well, provided they have a little bit of passion and were willing to learn and follow a roadmap. So low end, I wouldn't like architect, engineering, a doctor's office. Those aren't the types of businesses that I would look to start, even if I was an engineer, an architect, or a chiropractor, by the way. And Road Dog, a little black and white of a statement for a gray scenario, but I'll tell you that I'd be looking low end skill. That's important for scale. There you go.
I'm surprised you didn't say anti-aging. Like that's typically your go-to answer for everything. I realize you are now just putting the Botox in directly yourself, but you know what? I was just thinking as you're going, I'm like, man, we need to start playing Karl Bryan bingo. Like, you already mentioned Tom Brady in the pre-show, so there's a checkbox.
Yeah, Giselle, his wife.
There should be butcher, baker, candlestick maker for sure is making a list. Anti-aging is making the list. Like,
that was you. I didn't say anti-aging. That was you.
I'm just saying. I'm just thinking of what would make the list. Like, this is incredible, bro. Like, folks, Stay tuned. We're gonna have to launch a business coaching secrets website with Karl Bryan Bingo. It's gonna take the world by storm.
Good, buddy. Bingo. People are passionate about. I would start a bingo hall all day long, all day
Is
long.
that right?
Shoots.
Bingo.
We might be onto something here. How could we combine business coaching secrets and bingo? Dang.
Oh my God.
Might
Well, it's such a simple game. Even Johnny Utah can play along. So there you go, Shoots. There it is. Hey, getting back onto a serious note here, and now that I've got all of these, your regular Carlisms, in the back of your head, I know you're going to be watching your words. But on a serious note, coaching class. You talked about obviously coaching, fantastic, industry and everything else. Again, if you're passionate about wanting to help people. So my question to you is, are there coaching clients, right? Like if you want to become a business coach, are there clients that are easier to help them scale than others? I'm not sure if that's a kind of a stupid question or not, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
Coaching clients that are easier. So just okay. Well, I guess what we're asking here is like businesses that are going to be easier to help grow, right? First of all, you got to scale versus growth. Be clear, very different. People, I don't know, they confuse the two, just don't understand it. Growth is when the company grows and expenses come up with it. And then scale is when the company grows and the expenses stay reasonably the same, right? Very like important. Again, spoke about it in the past, but if you want to be helping people really grow, understanding that, like when Facebook puts 10 members, 100 members, 1,000 members, 10,000 members, 100,000 members in, is there an increase in expenses? And the answer is not really. Maybe when they put 100,000 people in, they got to have, we'll assume there's a coder and a support person, but generally speaking, it's reasonably, when you add 100,000 customers and you only need, a couple of employees, this is called scale, right? Growth, that's not happening. It's as you grow, expenses grow. So that's growth, which by the way is also high five and great, but understanding the two, scale is very hard to achieve. You got to have the right business model, right? And then think size, like the size of the opportunity, right? Like, so you're going to go help business owners. Answer this two ways. One is that I've always said, like, I don't want to help the massage therapist, generally speaking, because they charge $100 for a massage. If I'm $2,000 a month, they got to do 20 massages before they break even on my coaching fees, right? Per month. So they're going to cancel. When I go help a company, let's say a roofing company, and they charge $10,000 for a roof, and there's roughly $5,000 a jam there, $5,000 of profit. I just got to help them get, even, a very small, if I help them get if I'm $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year, I got to help them get 5 clients in 12 months at $5,000 each for them to cover my fees. That would be $25,000. They'd be in the black, over an entire 12 months. So that's important, right? Like understanding that a high unit of sale is important. And if I do help a massage therapist, or a client with a low unit of sale, the first thing that I would do, or one of the first things that I would do, is help them create a $5,000 unit of sale. Try help them, build something bigger, right? With that said, in a different direction, what's the size of the opportunity, right? Like, Google is like it's $1 trillion company. It's not because they're really smart guys that run it, although that's important. It's the size of the opportunity. Right? Think of like the crypto exchange, which by the way, there's a run on crypto if you didn't know. And these exchanges are magically falling over. Surprise? Not, right? Like, but if you were to build a crypto exchange, Coinbase, these types of opportunities, like the size of the opportunities, they went from zero to $1 billion companies real quick, right? Because it wasn't because they're smart. It's because the size of the opportunity. Facebook, again, Zuckerberg, very smart guy. Love him, hate him, irrelevant. Smart guy. I mean, went to Harvard, right? He was smart before, he started Facebook. It's the size of the opportunity of social networking. And again, they have millions and millions and billions of people on the site, right? So the size of the opportunity. Amazon. When Amazon started, you were scared to put your credit card into on a website, and now you won't give it to the person over the phone, right? Like you see how that literally flipped in 10 short years, right? Apple, home computers, Microsoft, software, the oil and gas industry. Like, what's the opportunity, right? So I think that like when you talk scale, like forget scale, like anti-aging road dog, shout out. But that is anti-aging gonna die off tomorrow? Look, is forget whether you think that or not. Go to the data and is the population aging? And the answer is it's a done deal. Another one, we would be crazy not to mention blockchain here. Again, people are looking at the price of Bitcoin and then thinking whether or not crypto is going to, you know what I mean? Bitcoin exists for one reason: blockchain, right? Blockchain. Wrote about that again. You can Google Karl Bryan blockchain or Karl Bryan Bitcoin, and you're going to see an article that I wrote literally years ago. I'm going to say 5 years ago, where I said when you're looking at Bitcoin, you really need to look at the foundation of it, and that's blockchain. And I'm pretty sure I just ended it with blockchain, right? That's the say opportunity. Like blockchain is up there, in my opinion, and maybe I'm going to be wrong. Highly doubt it. But like blockchain is up there with the opportunities of the internet. Like it's going to change the way. Look, you want an example? Road dog, QR codes. Remember when you thought QR code was ridiculous? And you know what? You've been to a restaurant lately. How did you get your menu? QR code. My daughter had to go for a COVID test. She had to go in. How did we download the application? QR code. I went to go see my dad, plane ticket. Guess what my plane ticket was? QR code. I had to show my vaccine when I got on the plane. Guess what that is? QR code, right? And then I have to do this arrive, like to come back to Canada, you need to fill out this ArriveCan thing. I imagine there's the equivalent of that in all the other countries. At the end of the day, how was it whatever, like provided to me so that I could show that I had filled this thing out? You guessed it, QR code, right? And there was a time when we thought QR codes were stupid. So think of the compounding effect where they were like nothing, boom. And now and as I said that, I bet you didn't even realize that you're using QR codes, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that I'm using QR codes all the time. Like it's the picturing the duck with the legs underneath the water, right? Like the legs are doing all the work, and you got this beautiful duck up above. Like what's happening, or that picture of the iceberg, and how big the iceberg is down below, and you only see, the top of it. And NFTs, Road Dog. If I just maybe changed your understanding of QR codes, or kind of you went, oh wow, okay, NFTs. Oh my goodness. Like we talked about this some while ago, but a month ago or whatever. Like, okay, NFTs. So NFT is like if you think trading cards are cool, right? Like a Gretzky rookie, Babe Ruth rookie, and whatever, right? Like, and they're going to be NFTs. So imagine like Taylor Swift gets vaccinated, right? And then how does that get provided? Like imagine if that, instead of a QR code, which is kind of going to fall off the earth, if that was an NFT, and then they can then control it like a trading card, the company that like delivered the NFT on Taylor Swift's vaccination. Imagine what that's going to be worth. Or a better is like that you pay to get into Taylor Swift's concert, okay, which right now would be a QR code, I would imagine, right? You highly doubt you got a hard ticket, which you might have, but you've got a QR code. That's going to become QR code is not an NFT. It will become an NFT in the future. And then imagine what people are going to pay. Like, what would you pay to get a hold of an Elvis Presley concert ticket from way back when? It was last concert. It's worth a freaking fortune, right? And you don't go to eBay and have a look, and it's right there for you, right? Well, that's going to be happening in the future. So think QR code, and then think of when that be. So NFT in a sentence, okay, NFT with utility is going to change the game in a very real and tangible way. Um, so that this, I don't know. And by the way, I'm not the NFT expert. Something that I, in my spare time, I'm reading about, thinking about, trying to work out what NFT, like your golf membership in the future will be an NFT with utility, right? And the utility will be the membership and the ability to get in and get discounted drinks and discounted, food and go golfing, right? And bring a buddy. That's going to be an NFT in the future for sure. You're going to be able to sell it. And you're going to want it to increase in value so that if you buy the membership for 10 grand, if it becomes worth 5 grand, that's going to be good for you. Right. So, anywho, that's something. Look, the size of the opportunity when you're going to coaching clients and choosing who you're going to work with, again, rather than go to, like the people who are desperate for a little bit of help, thinking about the size of the opportunity, how much easier is it going to be to help? Like a mistake that a lot of coaches make, Road Dog, is they go find people that are broken and try patch them back together, and a significantly better. But you got to be a good coach to do this. But to go to somebody successful and then elevate their game, like Tony Robbins isn't putting together broken people, right? He's taking people that are crushing it and then elevating and taking a piece of the upside, right? So you're starting out though, is that where you're at? No, but if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. These are things that I would be thinking about. So like you just got like solving problems. Like McDonald's provides fast food. It solves a problem. And if you've ever had a 30-minute lunch break, right, and then had to wait in line, you'd know that McDonald's like the magic of it, right? And then they created the drive-through that solved the problem for mom who had to get out of the car with 3 kids, and that's the biggest pain in the butt ever. When you deserve a break today, and they could just stay in the car. She goes to the drive-through, grabs the food, hands it back, right? Subway was like fast, healthy food. Made a little mistake when they signed up the boy Jared, who's now sitting in jail, hopefully for forever, maybe. Don't know, but whatever. So that's okay. Actually, thinking, Road Dog, opportunity, size of opportunity. Here are 2 words. I used to talk about this 5 years ago constantly. I continue to talk about it a little bit, but maybe it's something that's fallen off a little bit. But 2 words, if you want 2 billion, they're not $1 million words, they're $1 billion words. Convenience, delivery. I think that convenience, delivery, think like since COVID, like these non-real estate entities, think like a barbershop who comes to you. Think a car detailer that comes to you. Think of a food truck over a restaurant. Think about how much less money you'd have to invest in a food truck versus brick and mortar restaurant. And by the way, if I owned the restaurant, I would do both. I would do the food truck and the restaurant, or I would certainly think about it. But if I was only going to do one, just imagine um, how much less. Remember, our simulator will show you how you build $1 million. You can make as much money with a $250,000 gross revenue business as you can a million when you know what you're doing and you've got like a roadmap and you're concentrating on margins and thinking outside of just gross revenue, which the average business owner does, and frankly. A lot of business coaches, a lot of business consultants, certainly digital marketers drive them in that area, that one direction. So convenience, delivery, what level of convenience and delivery? A barber shop coming to you, a car detailing business coming to you. I think that there's a little bit of magic in there. The world doesn't like solving problems. The world doesn't need another restaurant. It doesn't need another hair salon. It doesn't need another gas station. It certainly doesn't need another realtor, right? But those are the things that people are starting up right now, right? And like so SaaS. I'm just trying to think of like just things that people could pick up, like they've literally experienced on a day-to-day basis. Like Airbnb. I went to go see my old man, right? Airbnb, Uber Eats. Salesforce, cloud-based computing, Amazon, Tinder. Just think of the size of the opportunity that those, like the problems that those types of businesses solve, right? There's just, and COVID also probably changed these things a little bit, like the mobile component of like delivery convenience. Like I used to always like the idea of a daycare, buying the piece of real estate and then ultimately selling the business and then owning the real estate, which by the way, I still, that is a home run, right? And the auto body shop. But with COVID, it has changed things a little bit, whereby there's a little bit of risk there. Like if you believe that another COVID is going to be coming, um, then that's just something I wouldn't knock me off the puck in terms of would that be an opportunity that I take advantage of, that I'd convince my client to take advantage of. The answer is no, but it would muddy the waters in terms of the process in which I would direct them towards it. Right. Um, so there you go, Road Dog. That's what I would say. Uh, just a big opportunity. Like, and if you have a business with low skill, then franchising it. So it's not just, like a mobile barber shop, but then it's like, okay, well, is that opportunity franchisable? Right. And then, so the big opportunity becomes the franchising nature. I don't think that there's a lot of money in ripping around the city and doing mobile haircuts. Right. But I think that there's a big opportunity if you know how to, grow that business and potentially scale that business depending upon, your expertise and the business model that you undertake. So yeah, Road Dog, easier to scale than others. The bottom line is that understanding the difference between scale and growth is important. The size of the opportunity is going to be critical, far bigger than the intelligence of the person that you're coaching. Um, and then the level of expertise required to do the business, again, architect, engineering, dental. These things are not, you're never going to see a dentist franchise successfully, right? Somebody might franchise, they might have a few of them there. It's never going to be a Subway, McDonald's type opportunity in a million years. Not going to happen. So there you go. Those are some things I'd be thinking about. What do you think? You like? Agree?
I still think Vandalay Industries has a huge upside to it. So there you go.
Nice.
Little Seinfeld reference for everybody there. Listen, by the way, speaking of drive-throughs, you heard the big news, didn't you?
No, what's up?
Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez got married at a drive-through wedding chapel in Las Vegas.
Did they?
They did over the weekend. So there you go, right?
Nice.
There's a need I didn't think that anyone actually had, but I guess when it's your fourth wedding, a drive-through is probably sufficient, right?
I was about to say, isn't that like your seventh wedding? But then you know what I thought to myself? That's a bit judgmental. And you know what? She's happy. Ben's happy. God bless them. I hope they're happy forever. And they go and crush it. So there you go. Actually, so Rod, I'm in. Oh God, I should tell you a funny story. Is this the time? Is this? Want to hear a funny story? Want to hear a good one?
I do always.
So I'm in. Oh Lord. Okay, so I'm in Puerto Vallarta. My dad lives in Puerto Vallarta, right, Mexico. I'm there, and then I got to run virtual business coaching mastery from where he lives. Right. Problem is across the street in Mexico, like they do things a little differently. Right. The rules and regulations are a little different. So they've got this right beside where my dad lives on the third story. They're breaking down all this concrete. So they're jackhammering, which isn't the most wonderful noise in the world, but that's nothing. They then take the rocks and they throw them down. I want you to picture these big barrels, and there's like 20 of them all patched together. I send you a photo of it. You never seen like it. And then they throw the bricks down into a truck. And then the problem is, so then they do that, and you never heard, and I've never heard noise like this before. It's just like, it's just unbelievable, right? For like hours. Anywho, so it made it a little difficult to work, is what I'm saying. So I had to go get a hotel room down the road where I used that as my office, and then I was hanging out with the old man. And then they did the banging. They did the banging and crashing for a few hours. So anywho, and these barrels, like you can picture barrels connected together, right? But then like no bottom, so they go all the way down, and then it lands in the truck. And if you happen to be making the mistake of walking by, they'd land in the truck and then often bounce. Like once it got full, it would bounce out, and you had to be careful. My dad, he's not an Olympic runner. Anyway, so I'm like, Dad, be careful, we gotta go. Anyways, virtual business coaching mastery starts for 2 days, they just been pumping concrete. In other words, they stopped the craziness of what I just said. And Puerto Vallarta, there's lots of gay people in Puerto Vallarta, right? That's totally, that's cool, and that's their environment. And the guys cross their legs, and the gals are, it's an environment where, like, there's lots of people that are gay there, right? Which is cool, and they feel at home, and it's like amazing. Anyways, so I start virtual business coaching mastery, and I think that I'm going to be fine, and I'm doing it at my dad's place, right? And all of a sudden, I'm literally about to hit the button, right? And by the way, I happen to be about like 1 minute late to start, and the banging and crashing starts, and I go, "Oh my gosh!" Like, I didn't even think about it, right? Well, I have to, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm a minute late. I didn't hit the button. I'm like, I look at my dad, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I got to rip to that hotel," right? And I'm like, "Oh." So I take my cell phone, I put it in one pocket. I take my computer charger, put it in the other pocket. And then I've got my laptop in my hand, and I like, "Dad, I gotta go," and I just run out, right? Because I got like a 5 minute run to this hotel. Anyways, I go running out, and here's the problem: I'm wearing shorts that, like, with a drawstring, and it's not done up, right? Because I'm just sitting there doing my thing. I'm running down the street, and my pants are falling off, and I've got my computer in one hand, and then I'm holding my shorts with the other, and I'm running. And again, and then my dad's like, "Hey, Carl, you forgot." So then I got to run back, right? And my pants are falling off, and I'm ripping back, and I got to grab something else out of my dad's hand. And then I'm running, and all these people are watching this, right? And I'm like running by, and my pants are falling off, and I've got my computer in my hand open, right? Because I'm about to start the dealio. Anyways, and I run past this couple, and they just look at me, and I'm like, "This isn't what it looks like," right? Like, I'm like, "Oh my goodness." So anyways, I had to run. And then of course I got my what I thought was a sciatic nerve issue, or a sciatic nerve issue that became a hip issue. So my running style is probably not the most impressive at the moment. So I'm running with a little bit of a limp too. And it was weird, shoots. I don't know if that, anyways, my old man was laughing his butt off. I was laughing my butt off, but I ran down the street. My pants, literally, I mean, my pants were, like, apart from the side that I was holding on to, they're falling off, shoots. So,
Oh my God. If people could only like understand the chaos of the life, which is Karl Bryan sometimes, it is something else. The positions you put yourself in sometimes, shoots, I don't know. I don't even know where to go with that story. I can just about picture it, you running back and forth, holding up your pants. Like
well,
it's
okay. So part of it, Road Dog, too, is that it's not uncommon in Puerto Vallarta to see an older guy and then a younger guy that are having like a relationship, right? Is it a little good? Am I like, that's acceptable, right? But like, so my dad's there handing me this thing. So I'm like, I don't know. It just and there's this couple, they're looking at me, and they're just like, "What in the world is going on? What are we watching right now?" And I'm like ripping by. "It's not what it looks like. Trust me." And they kind of giggled, and I just kept.
so good. So good. There's more stories to be had, I'm sure, but we're gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and leave those ones for another day.
Uh,
Listen, we're almost at the top of the hour here. Not the typical close, folks, for the podcast, but there you go, right? There it is. Listen, aside from tie up your drawstring on your shorts, what's the one thing that you would take from today's episode that people can actually implement into their business and their lives today?
oh Lord. Anyways, okay. What's the one thing? I think convenience, delivery, um, important. Just thinking about just looking at the size of the opportunity. You know what I mean? Again, a good business is not about, like, you've got somebody who's super smart, starts a business. Um, Look, it's got a better chance than someone who's, super dumb or super lazy, right? But that being said, that is not how you build a $1 billion company. You build a $1 billion company based on the size of the opportunity. And again, so with that said, being strategic about the coaching opportunities that you take on, I think is a good idea. Like taking on the roofer as opposed to the guy selling insurance might be a better idea, because how hard does the insurance guy have to work in order to make the commissions, to make that, you know what I mean, to pay your fees? Is that going to be a short-lived relationship? Um, so yeah, and then understanding that convenience and delivery, like if you have a restaurant, the reason that you would say, hey, a food truck might not be a bad idea, think about the convenience and the delivery applications of that. You can now pick up the restaurant. You've already got the food. You've already got, the inventory. You've already got the cook and the extra cook and the staff. So you just put them in the truck, and now they go to the local event. They go to the local trade show. They go to the local, the really popular retail kind of, strip over the, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You go park, and then that becomes advertising for the restaurant, right? And then, by the way, and then you're also having a catering, company bolted onto that. Like one restaurant, and again, I'm going to the framework of, building a $250,000 business that could be as profitable as $1 million business with slight improvements in 12 different areas. You could kill it. But so that's the convenience and delivery, the mobile component of the restaurant, as in the food truck, would come from those two words. At the end of the day, Amazon is Amazon for two words: convenience, delivery, right? Uber, it's convenience and delivery as well. It's delivery of you where you want to go. I've often talked about, like, if I was a business coach with 100% certainty and I was busy and I had to do appointment, I'd be doing Uber all day long and sitting in the back with my laptop working while the guy was driving me around, right? I wouldn't want to be fighting traffic. I don't, and again, there would be I would need to day to day, depending upon the schedule and whatnot. It might make sense on different days to get behind the wheel for other reasons. But generally speaking, if I'm just going from appointment to appointment to appointment, 100%, I'm working on my computer in the back versus, fighting traffic behind the behind the wheel. So that's what I think, Road Dog. Size of the opportunity. Again, you get a low end business. The opportunity is like franchising is a massive opportunity, right? But the local franchisee maybe not so much. So there you go, Shoots. I think that is what I would say. There you go.
Do you think, just on a quick aside here, just for a second, do you think transparency, like the only reason I say transparency, when you say Uber, I think, wow, isn't it cool that you can actually see on, like, you open the app
Yep.
and it's like, I can see where the car's at.
Convenient.
And the transparency of, I know exactly what the fare is going to be, right?
Yep.
Right? There's
Yep.
that, because even us locally, like if you go onto your Domino's app later today to order your lunch or dinner or whatever, they literally have now upgraded the app where as soon as the pizza's out of the oven and it goes into the car, you now have
Yep.
GPS and it'll track where your pizza's at. Like that level of transparency, I think there's still a lot of upside potential there. Much like, okay, let's back this up. Business coaches. There's a lot of unknowns, but here's the ultimate plug for you, Shoots. Using the software, you've got a 12-month roadmap, right? So imagine now if, like, they could actually visually see you are here on the roadmap and here's what's next.
It's
I think
100. Love it. And again, I like transparency, but again, I just put it all under the convenience app. But by the way, Road Dog, I used to deliver pizzas once upon a time. And if they could track me, I'm thinking it'd be very disappointed, because I used to stop and see my girlfriend. I had like 3 pizzas. I go see my girlfriend. They'd be bitterly disappointed. Like, what's my pizza doing at this address? Man, what's this guy doing walking in to say hi to his girlfriend?
Well,
Sure.
the funny thing is, there's something that we didn't know we had in common. When I lived in Whistler, in the early '90s, I delivered pizza. I worked at the Sheraton, and I actually quit to deliver pizzas because I made more money delivering pizzas in Whistler, of course, right? Because then it'd be the drunken tourist saying, "Hey, can get me a pack of darts or whatever. And then back when it was $5, they give you 20, you keep the change. It was, there you go. There you go. All right, enough about our amazing past of delivering pizza pies, but I do think there's something there with the. I still think there's so much opportunity there, right? Like, how can you, as a business coach, let's bring it back to business coaching. How can you provide a clear roadmap where the client doesn't feel like you're just pulling something out of your backside every week, but there's a clear path to their success that they can actually see? And I think there's tremendous amounts of value in that. Great plug here. So there you go. But anyways, folks, thanks for tuning into another episode of Business Coaching Secrets, right? Obviously with the big man himself, your pizza delivery man who may be late because he's too busy necking with his girlfriend, Karl Bryan. And if you're not on the inside and getting access to the daily emails, or you want to know more about the profit acceleration software, or how to be a better business coach, visit focused.com and subscribe there today. And again, if you enjoyed the podcast, please leave us a review if you like what you heard. And that is it for another week. I can't believe that was quick, my friend. Great story time this week. But remember, folks, progress equals happiness. We'll see you next episode. Take care, everybody.
Karl Bryan built Profit Acceleration Software 2.0 to train business coaches how to find any small business owner more than $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising. This becomes a business coach's superpower. So as a business coach, you'll never again have to worry about working with business owners that can't afford your high-end coaching fees. Check us out at focused.com.